Dear students, today we are going to do lesson number 3, The Little Girl from Beehive Book. It's written by Catherine Mansfield. The Little Girl is the story of a little girl, Kezia, who misunderstands her father's strictness and usually remains scared of him. This story is about the relationship between a strict father and his daughter. Every morning before going to work, her father gives Kezia a casual kiss. In reply, she says, "Goodbye." But the little girl is unable to understand his love and affection. When her father leaves home for work, she feels a sense of relief. She always wanted to avoid meeting him. In the evening, when her father returns home, his loud voice makes Kezia frightened. She hears him ordering her mother and grandmother, "Bring me tea, newspaper, and slippers." She always felt relieved when he went out of the house, as his presence made her uncomfortable. Then Kezia's mother asked her to come down and remove her father's boots. As Kezia enters into drawing room, her father looks at her over his spectacles, and the way he looks at her terrifies her. He asks her, "Have you been a good girl today?" In fear, she stammered and replies, I don't know. I don't know, father." He tells her, "You don't know? If you stammer like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor." Kezia always stammers in front of him because he felt uncomfortable in his presence, whereas with others, she used to talk very normally. Father feels that something is wrong with Kezia. He tells his mother to teach Kezia to behave in a better manner, that Kezia may not appear sad all the time. Whenever Kezia thinks about her father, she feels that she is thinking about a giant. She visualizes her father as a giant, especially when he yawns. So he appeared so big to Kezia that she would compare him with a giant. On Sunday afternoon, Kezia's grandmother sends her into the drawing room to spend some time with her parents. When Kezia enters the drawing room, she finds her mother busy in reading and her father sleeping. Kezia feels a bit neglected. One day, Kezia remains indoors as she gets a cold. Her grandmother advises her, "Why don't you make a gift for your father's birthday next week?" She stitches a beautiful pin cushion, but she does not find anything for stuffing. So she fills it with some scraps and by tearing small pieces of papers which she found on her mother's bedroom table. As her grandmother is out in the garden, she goes to her mother's bedroom in search of some stuff. Then she finds sheets of paper in which her father had written an important speech. She unknowingly tears them into pieces and stuffs into the cushion and stitches it. When her father comes home and gets to know about his important papers, he punishes her by hitting the palms of her hands with a ruler for tearing up his speech. This incident further alienates Kezia from her father. He wanted to teach her the lesson not to touch anything that did not belong to her. She often watches her neighbor, Mr. MacDonald, playing joyously with his 5 children in their lawn. She thinks Mr. MacDonald is a loving father to his children. Kezia wonders he might be a different kind of father. So, one day, her mother falls ill and is taken to a hospital by her grandmother. As Kezia goes
Kezia
to her
is left
bed, Alice
alone
removes
at
her
home
socks
under the care
and
of their
warms
cook,
her.
Alice.
Do not scream and wake your father. At night, Kezia has a nightmare and she wakes up screaming. She saw a butcher with a knife and a rope and woke up crying. When she calls her grandmother for help, she finds her father standing by her bedside. He picks her up and takes her to his room. He tucks her up in his bed and soon falls asleep. She feels the beating of her father's loving heart and realizes that her poor father, big father, is very loving and caring and has a very generous heart. Kezia now realized that her father had to work very hard and felt sorry for tearing up his papers. She told him that he had a very big heart.